All right, welcome. Today we're going to dive into a problem that, let's be honest, drives almost every business on the planet crazy. The absolute headache of processing documents. We're going to break down a tool that's built to turn that mountain of paperwork into useful, structured data in just a few seconds. So, how do we fix this mess? Let's get into it.
But first, let me ask you something. Just think about your day-to-day for a second. When you're dealing with invoices, forms, all that stuff, does it feel slow, clunky? Are you constantly having to do tedious manual corrections? If you're nodding along right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a huge hidden drain on your time and money.
And that universal frustration? Well, that's what we're calling the document dilemma. It's a fundamental challenge for pretty much every business out there, and really understanding it is the first step to finding a way out.
I mean, just think about it. Every single day, companies are just flooded with these critical documents. Invoices, passports, bank statements. It's a constant stream of vital information. It can really feel like you're drowning in paper. But you know, the real bottleneck isn't just getting these documents, it's pulling the important data out of them and doing it fast and, more importantly, accurately.
So, how have people tried to solve this before? Well, for years, the main tool has been something called optical character recognition. You've probably heard of it, OCR. And on the surface, it sounds like the perfect answer. But this old-school tech has some really serious limits. Let's break down exactly where the old way falls apart.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at that accuracy gap. Your typical legacy OCR system, if you're lucky, tops out at about 85% accuracy. And that might sound okay, but think about what that means. A 15% error rate means your team is constantly going back, fixing mistakes, doing rework. DocXtract, on the other hand, hits over 98% because its AI is trained for each specific document type. That little difference is actually the huge gap between endless rework and real reliability.
And then there's speed. Man, older systems just chug along in these slow, painful batches. And that's not just annoying. It leads to real-world problems, like missed payment cycles and reconciliation delays. But this new approach, it can process up to 5,000 pages an hour, giving you the data you need in real time. That's the difference between waiting around and actually getting things done.
So what about getting it up and running? Well, the old tools are famous for their high fees and setups that can drag on for weeks, sometimes months. DocXtract just flips that whole idea on its head. It's a simple pay-per-use model, and you can get it set up in a single day. It plugs into your software using a standard REST API, which is basically like a universal adapter that lets different programs talk to each other. It's designed to be super easy for any developer to get going with fast.
And here it is, the hidden killer of productivity, maintenance. With the old systems, every single time you get an invoice from a new vendor or a slightly different format, your team has to stop what they're doing and build a new template. It's a never-ending, soul-crushing cycle. But the AI and DocXtract, it needs zero templates. It just adapts on its own. That is a massive, massive win for your operations.
Okay, so we've seen the problem. We've seen how the old solutions just don't cut it anymore. So now let's turn the page and look at the smarter way. It's time to properly introduce DocXtract, the engine that's designed to solve this dilemma for good. So at its heart, DocXtract is what's called a multimodal AI engine. What does that even mean? Well, think of it this way. It doesn't just read the text like a simple scanner would. It actually understands the document's layout and its context. It knows that a total amount is different from a tax amount. And then it hands you all that intelligence in a super clean, structured format called JSON, which is basically a universal language for data that any application can use. And it all happens through one simple API call.
So, what's the secret sauce here? First, it's that contextual understanding we talked about. It knows the difference between a price and a quantity. Second, as we saw, it's totally template-free. And third, this is a controlled AI. That means it's been fine-tuned to give you stable, predictable results for business, not the crazy hallucinations you hear about where AI just makes stuff up. It's even been trained on specific regional data, like Indian tax codes, to make sure it's as accurate as possible.
Okay, so it sounds really powerful, but you're probably thinking, it must be a nightmare to set up, right? Wrong. You can actually get it plugged into your workflow in just 4 simple steps.
And here's just how simple it is. Step 1, your developer integrates the API. Step 2, you send it any document, a PDF, an image, whatever. Step 3, the AI does all the heavy lifting, reading it and understanding the context. And step 4, you get perfectly structured data back in seconds. That's it. That's the whole process. It's built so developers can have it working in hours, not weeks.
Now, all that theory is great, but results are what really matter, right? So let's look at the proof. What actually happens when a business puts this thing to work in the real world?
This number says it all. 98.6%. And this isn't some made-up number from a lab test. This is the real-world accuracy rate that an actual customer achieved. Just let that sink in for a second. And here's the story behind that number. A finance controller at a major, publicly listed company saw their accuracy leap from an okay 84% all the way up to that 98.6% mark in just 2 weeks. But look at the second half of that quote. They also slashed their processing time by 60%. That's not just an improvement, that is a total game changer.
And look, this isn't just a tool for small jobs. This is built for serious, enterprise-level automation. What does that mean for you? It means you get audit-ready accuracy that you can actually trust. It means you can scale on demand as your business grows. And it means seamless integration with the big ERP systems you're probably already using, like SAP and Oracle. It's made to fit right into the toughest corporate workflows and make them better.
And the business model is just as simple and straightforward as the technology. It's a pay-per-page structure. You've got different tiers based on what you're throwing at it, whether it's super clean PDFs or messy scans. There are no hidden fees, no complex subscriptions. It's all right there, totally transparent, so you can control your costs.
So we'll end with this question. Remember that company we just talked about? They got 60% of their time back. So what could your team do with that much extra time? What bigger, more strategic projects could they finally focus on if they weren't buried in manual data entry and fixing mistakes? It's a really powerful thought to leave you with.